Aldi has a cluck-ton of frozen chicken offerings, but don't get your feathers in a ruffle. Here's a look at what's worth your money and what should stay in deep freeze, ranked from worst to best. As frequent Aldi shoppers, we know that every product has its bad days. Manufacturers can run into problems that affect a whole shipment of products, leading to a less than desirable experience for customers. But when inconsistencies frequently happen with one product, we tend to move on to something else instead. That's the case with Kirkwood's frozen chicken wings. While it's totally possible to get a good bag here and there, we've ended up with more disappointing bags. It seems like many other Aldi customers have similar experiences. For instance, one Twitter user posted a photo of a wing that's just about 2 inches long, writing, "More than half of my bag of Kirkwood frozen chicken wings were from tiny little baby chicks, not full-grown chickens." Another person shared on Twitter that the wings in their bag still had a few feathers. However, it seems that other happy Aldi wing buyers typically overlook the inconsistencies and have good results making their wings in an air fryer. If you're okay with picking off some feathers and having wings of different sizes, try picking up one of the many sauces Aldi offers, slathering up the wings and tossing them in the air fryer for a crispy, flavorful meal. Nobody buys frozen chicken breast patties expecting a gourmet dining experience. They're for when you need a quick, simple lunch or dinner backup idea for an extremely busy day. With that in mind, Kirkwood chicken breast patties are certainly affordable compared to brands in other grocery stores, and they can be a convenient addition to the freezer for those days when you just can't muster the energy to cook from scratch.
Hey, baby doll? What's for dinner?
But they're definitely not a first-choice item for us and many other Aldi shoppers. Instead, lots of Aldi fans praise a different kind of frozen chicken patty, the Mediterranean-style chicken patties in a blue box. These patties have amassed a large following since their introduction to the freezer aisle, with shoppers often sprucing them up with other Mediterranean ingredients like tzatziki, artichokes, or Greek yogurt. If you're a fan of battered chicken, you might assume you'd love the Kirkwood honey battered breast tenders in the yellow bag at Aldi. These tenders use white meat and rib meat and are breaded with a sweetened honey batter. When you make them, they actually come out just like the picture. So far so good, right? Well, the problem is with their taste and texture. These tenders can be overly sweet for some, which could be a turnoff for those looking for the more savory flavors of traditional breaded tenders or nuggets. They can also be less than palatable for people with texture aversions. Even when cooked in the oven or air fryer to crisp them up, they have somewhat of a spongy texture inside. One person on Reddit describes it well. "The honey battered tenders are good, but they leave me with a weird mouth feel. It's not an oily feel, just off." Still, plenty of Aldi lovers experiment with these tenders, typically using them as an ingredient in Asian-inspired meals like sweet and sour chicken, chicken fried rice, or chicken rice and broccoli. Perhaps when they're transformed from their original state into something new, they're a bit more palatable. We certainly love a versatile food product that we can use in multiple meals, and that's what the frozen Kirkwood boneless and skinless chicken tenderloins from Aldi bring to the table. Once they're thawed out, you can grill them, pan fry them, put them in the oven, or pop them in the air fryer for a range of meals. Personally, we love using them for grilled chicken salads, breaded chicken strips, or chicken pasta dishes. But we'd be remiss to not point out one particular problem that pops up in almost every bag: the dreaded tendons. It's not uncommon to find them on any chicken tenderloins you buy, but they're frequent occurrences in Aldi's brand of frozen tenderloins, sometimes found on every piece in the bag. Unfortunately, you can't pull or cut them off until the tenders thaw out, which can be a problem if you're cooking straight from frozen. Looking for an Aldi frozen chicken that the kids will be sure to love? Try Kirkwood's popcorn chicken, which is in a yellow golden bag, usually situated near the frozen nuggets. These little balls of white meat chicken taste very similar to the brand's chicken patties, just in smaller form. They're perfect for a quick finger food lunch or dinner for kids who haven't developed finer taste buds yet. And plenty of adults love transforming them into KFC-inspired bowls with mashed potatoes, corn, gravy, popcorn chicken, and cheese. On their own, they're a bit bland though, so the best thing to do is incorporate these affordable bags of popcorn chicken into meals that give them a bit of a flavor boost. Frozen chicken nuggets are a favorite for kids and adults. Even the pickiest eaters tend to find solace in a warm plate of nugs for lunch or dinner. Aldi's chicken nuggets from Kirkwood can be an affordable alternative to other brands you'll find at traditional grocery stores, and they don't taste too shabby considering their sometimes much lower price tag. Multiple Redditors have shared their thoughts, and the consensus seems to be clear. Aldi's nuggets are a catch. Some even claim that they're the only nuggets their children will eat, which is quite a compliment for such a universally child-loved food.
Do you guys have any chicken nuggets?
Kirkwood's blue bag of frozen breaded chicken strips is certainly a popular pick with Aldi enthusiasts. Fans use them in numerous ways, from making chicken wraps and subs to dipping them in white country gravy or tossing them in buffalo sauce for boneless buffalo bites. The best part about them, perhaps, is that they cook in just a matter of minutes, whether you toss them in the oven or cook them in the air fryer, and they'll be crisped and ready to eat for a quick, easy meal. Our suggestion? After cooking the breaded chicken strips with whatever method you prefer, let them cool off for a couple of minutes. Then, cut them up and serve them over potatoes or rice drizzled with chicken gravy. We also love them atop Caesar or house salad. There's simply no going wrong with this versatile option from Aldi. Where there are regular chicken strips, a spicier version usually isn't too far behind. Such is the case for Kirkwood's frozen breaded chicken strips, which has a buffalo version that you can find in an easy-to-spot orange bag. For spice lovers, they're an absolute must-try. If there's one complaint we have about these buffalo chicken strips, it's that they might not give enough heat for some taste buds. Still, the flavor is delicious, and there's always room for you to add extra sauce if you'd like. Either way, they make the perfect foundation for buffalo chicken wraps or salads with ranch dressing. If you're on the hunt for frozen chicken at Aldi that you can use in a virtually endless number of recipes, try Kirkwood's boneless and skinless chicken breasts or thighs. They're usually right next to each other on the frozen shelves and are clearly marked with different colors so you can quickly spot the difference. One caveat of these bags of chicken is that the pieces can vary in size significantly, especially the breasts. If you're making a meal for a family and want everyone to have similar sized pieces, you might need to double up 2 smaller breasts to make up for one of the larger ones you find in the bag. Otherwise, these frozen chicken bags can be helpful to have on hand. Thaw these in the fridge a day before you need to cook them, or cook them straight from frozen if you're cooking a meal in the slow cooker or pressure cooker.
What's chicken cordon bleu?
Chicken cordon bleu is a breaded chicken breast that's stuffed with ham and cheese. Aldi sells these little bundles of yum as individually wrapped products in the frozen section. While they're a bit pricier than other forms of frozen chicken, they serve as a tasty treat for the family. Because of its savory stuffing, chicken cordon bleu is rather filling, so you won't need more than a side dish or two to round out a meal. Every once in a while, Aldi also has other versions of stuffed chicken breasts similar to chicken cordon bleu, like chicken Florentine or creamy jalapeno. If you find them, grab them, because they usually don't last long. Although these are intended to cook in the oven, you can also microwave or air fry them for a quicker meal. Serve with chicken gravy for a flavor boost, or cut one up to serve over mashed potatoes or pasta. Aldi has plenty of frozen chicken products to buy, whether you want plain chicken breasts or various types of breaded chicken to switch things up. One of its more unique offerings is chicken fries, another Kirkwood favorite that Aldi's biggest fans post about a lot in Facebook groups. You can probably imagine that these small strips of chicken are popular finger foods for kids, as they're relatively similar to nuggets. But you might be surprised by how many adults love them too. Kirkwood's chicken fries are great on their own or with your favorite dipping sauce. If you can find it at your local Aldi store, we suggest grabbing a bottle of Berman's Chicken Dippin' Sauce, which is a clone of the famous Chick-fil-A sauce. It pairs perfectly with these chicken fries, which make for a quick meal on a busy day. You can even stick them in the microwave for a few minutes if you're in a rush. When you need chicken for salad or wraps but aren't in the mood to grill it up yourself, try a bag of Kirkwood's grilled chicken strips from the Aldi freezer aisle. They're super convenient to use when you're in a pinch because they microwave or pan fry in about 2 to 3 minutes from frozen. We love using them for burrito bowls, chicken quesadillas, and chicken Alfredo. One person in an Aldi Facebook group post mentions that they thaw them first, put the chicken strips on skewers, and then grill them to make kebabs. Others use them as the star of casseroles, chicken nachos, grain bowls, and fajitas. Really, the options are endless with this frozen chicken. One note of warning, these taste quite salty already, so be careful about seasoning them with extra salt until you've tasted them. When we crave Parmesan chicken but don't have the time to make it from scratch, there's one bag of Aldi frozen chicken we reach for: Kirkwood's Parmesan chicken in the green bag. This chicken is basically a large chicken tender that's breaded in a Parmesan herb-crusted seasoning and frozen until you're ready to use it. They cook in the oven in about 20 minutes right from the freezer, giving plenty of time to make pasta and sauce to go with it. If you're making traditional Parmesan chicken, simply add your sauce and cheese to the tenders about halfway through the cooking time. Otherwise, you can do what many Aldi fans do and enjoy them plain. They have lots of flavor in the breading, so they don't need any additions. Still, there are plenty of ways to get creative with them, like chopping a tender to add to a salad or wrap, mixing a sliced tender with pasta, or adding one to a bun for a tasty bird sandwich.
The only bird I like is in a chicken sandwich.
People who hang around Aldi fan groups on Reddit or Facebook know all about the famous Kirkwood breaded chicken fillets, more commonly referred to as red bag chicken. Many Aldi shoppers pick up 1 or 2 of these red bags every time they visit Aldi, resulting in a surprisingly massive following for a bag of frozen chicken. And the thing is, they're absolutely worth the hype. The famous red bag chicken is nothing more than breaded chicken fillets. However, they're seasoned well, and when cooked in the oven or air fryer, they have an excellent amount of crispy breading. There are so many ways to use them too, which is why they're so handy to keep forever stocked in the freezer. In an article for Insider, writer Laura Walsh tested the chicken to see if it was worth all its praise. Walsh's thoughts? Not only did she think the chicken was reminiscent of Chick-fil-A's breaded chicken, but she also tells fans to run, not walk, to grab some the next time they're at an Aldi. Truer words were never spoken.